Hello there, Mike the MC, bringing the self-care video. Today I'm going to talk to you about the heroes of today who may be the younger generations that we don't expect. And I think there's something to be said about that as far as looking at how people feel, oh, we should be worried about technology, about how people think about our children as they grow up in school, etc., all these other social problems. And yeah, these are valid points to consider in life from the parents' perspective. But then a shout out to the people who really do stand up from the younger generations, who really want to make something of themselves and really to grow and to really be inspired to become awesome people. And I always wondered, I'll bring this as a reflection question as far as, okay, if your time, my time, your generation, my generation, our grandkids' generations, children's, etc., all face challenges that were unique at the time, my question is, were we able to become heroes in spite of all the hardship? Because the hardships were always present no matter what. And I think no time is better than another in the sense that, hey, I would argue that there will always be struggles throughout every century for every culture and civilization. And so it really comes back to the hero, the people who really grow up in those generations. And I think as people grow from the generation to generation and you see the people who stand out, it's the ones who understood the problems of the day. And I would argue it's the heroes who really rejected all of the criticisms, or maybe they understood everything that people were saying, as far as like, oh, this is part of some joke about a politician, some joke about this or that movement, etc. But then there are the bright minds that are saying, wait a minute, let's think about others outside the box and say, hey, let's try to help other friends and people as we grow up in college and into adulthood. And I think there are young heroes who should be recognized. I mean, you can argue that there are many people out there who are willing and brave enough to make brave social media posts or go out in public and talk to others. But then you as a parent, okay, how do you feel about when your own child starts to make posts as a young person already? Right. I mean, that's kind of a scary thought. You're wondering, okay, what about the idea of bullying? The idea of people who can come and find your kid from school and be like, oh, I saw your post. Oh, that was kind of good or not so good. And all of a sudden they're becoming famous, and then you have all these things to worry about as a parent, wondering, okay, is my kid safe? Will I ever see him again? Etc., because now people are starting to recognize and know who he is in the community. And I think a part of that popularity as a young person really should come back to, how do you feel about how you use it for how you represent yourself in front of other people? And so I think young people who grow up in their generations bravely are willing and strong enough to stand aside and let go of, not necessarily to let go of the negativity or positivity of the time, because hey, some people, I would argue, like to be cultured. And that does lead into another point of, if you are very cultured with your time, right, you know the music, you know the song artists, you know the sports teams, etc., you're able to relate to people and you're able to really bring out good dialogue and arguments. And so my question for you all is, as a young audience, how many of you want to stand up against injustice, or how many of you want to become leaders in your own right? I mean, that's a good question to consider. And it's like, oh, if I raise my hand, I'm ready to jump on board, I'm ready to become an awesome leader, of course. But then how am I going to inspire the next generation of people coming after me, and for your grandkids, etc., as the channel grows and as I move forward as a counselor, advocate for people, etc. And I think part of it is also learning to be patient with your growth, learning to be patient with the struggles you face each day, and learning how to find the pace wherever you are in your working environment. And when you're able to find that pace and then relate to the people around you with what is relatable as far as the music, what people are talking about, the problems of the day, I think you can really make a difference, become a hero in your own community. And so I inspire you, each and every one of you who likes to listen to the channel, just to not to give up on yourself. Think about how you can inspire another person by your work, to not be discouraged when things are not going your way, to not be discouraged when others say things that you were not expecting. Maybe you did not have to get the praise. Maybe you could have respected that, hey, maybe I can just be humble in this moment. I don't have to be number one right now, and I'll just work my way up and get that respect. And that respect is a valuable thing to earn. And when you finally earn it and you have worked your way up to the top, it feels great. And so always remember that you and I can make a difference as far as being relatable to people, knowing how to stand up against injustice. And as young people grow in the future generations, let's see if we're able to combat the injustices that we see in today's world today and become awesome leaders across the world and make a difference. And I know you're going to make a difference. And that's why it's awesome to share that with you on the channel, that we're going to do something great. All right, everyone. Hope this video finds you well today. Be strong, courageous. Don't give up on yourself. Be a great, brave, spirited soul. Be courageous, and always remember, you can do good things. And you don't have to be number one today. You can be content, be happy, strive to be better than what you were yesterday, better today and tomorrow. But never give up on yourself, and always continue to push yourself forward, and you will grow. All right, everyone. Hope this video finds you well today. Take care. Have a good one.